What's up, guys? AFC Dino here, playing against my boy Tyranitar Carzy. He's a pretty good friend of mine, I would say. So it should be a fun game. I'm just gonna lead it with Scizor because my Scizor is so good against his team. Once I get rid of the Zapdos, I think my Scizor will kind of take over. That would definitely work for me. Zapdos most likely is Defogger. Interesting team. But yeah, I lead off with Scizor as he leads off with his Tyranitar. I think I've played him before with this, so I'll just U-turn. I believe it's especially defensive Tyranitar with Stealth Rocks and Toxic. I'm just gonna U-turn. Usually I would just switch out here, just checking if I'm faster or not. But I played against this before. Not this exact team, but I believe it's the same Tyranitar. So let's see what he does. Like if he switches out, it kind of confirms that it's that same Tyranitar. He hits me with Fire Blast here, and it's my own fault. He switches out into his Zapdos, so that works out. I get the U-turn damage, and he also takes Sandstorm damage. We don't see Rocky Helmet, so this is most likely leftovers. But yeah, this will allow me to bring in my Hip Powder and get up my rocks. And I would really love to have the Stealth Rocks up. Getting Chip on all his Pokemon would be really nice. Could honestly press Toxic here as well if I wanted, but I prefer Stealth Rocks. Also precious the Zapdos if it switches out. Yeah, Hippowdon is pretty good against his team as well. Can kind of tank the Alakazam, thanks to Tyranitar obviously. Deals with the Zapdos if it doesn't have Toxic, but he goes straight into the Azumarill, and I do get up my rock, so that is nice for us. And I'll just go straight into Zapdos. Zapdos is at full HP, so if he goes for Belly Drum, he can't knock me out with the Aqua Jet. But let's see. He goes for Waterfall, and that is definitely banded, so 54. Takes Rocky Helmet damage and Sandstorm damage as well. And I'm just gonna go for... Do I want to Roost actually? I'm just gonna U-turn actually. Because I could Roost there, but yeah, he brings in Mamoswine, and now I get momentum. This is really nice because I get to bring in my Heracross. Or I can actually... Being Heracross is... let's see. I cannot yet go for the Porygone Carzy because he has Tyranitar in the back. So I'll just go Heracross. This will also activate my Flame Orb. And Mamoswine is in Facade range, so I'm just gonna click it. I have Rocks up as well, so Tangrowth will get 2-hit KO'd. Zapdos will take a lot of damage. $49. Decent. And I can just click it again. And Tangrowth is gonna die, or something else is gonna die. This really works out for me. Like Alakazam cannot switch in, Azumarill cannot switch in, Memo cannot switch in. Yes, Titar can switch in, but then he'll die to close combat. So he decides to go Alakazam anyway. Damn. But yeah, he showed Focus Sash, so this is most likely a counters him. I obviously don't want to die to Psychic. So what I'm gonna do is I can just go into my Porygon 2. His attack won't do that much because he doesn't have a Life Orb. He had a Focus Sash, so he will lack a lot of damage. Which means my Porygon 2, even though it's a physically defensive Porygon, should be able to wall this pretty decently. For Psychic, 29. Still a decent amount, but I'll go for the recover here. He decides to go T-Tar here. Yeah, I'll get myself back full HP. And he shows leftovers, so yes, it's still the specially defensive T-Tar, so I'm gonna go into my Scizor. Last time I saw, yeah, it's Stealth Rocks, Rock Tomb, Pursuit, Toxic. Actually goes for Crunch here. Okay. I guess he switched it up. I'm gonna go for the U-turn as he is faster. Oh no. I should have figured by the damage from his Crunch. Oh, this is really my own fault, guys. Can still have Toxic though, because he has leftovers, so he's not banded. He's not scarfed. Guess I just have to go Heracross then. This sucks. I'll go Heracross. Because in the beginning I said my Scizor would have been so great. And losing it like this really puts me in a disadvantage. I really lost my best way of winning against this team. Because Alakazam didn't have Focus Sash anymore, so I could have also knocked Alakazam out. He decides to go Zapdos. And I hit him with the close combat. 40%. That's a lot, man. This might be faster than my Heracross. And but I would want to click Facade there, but I'll just go hit Bowden. As he goes for Roost. And I will click Toxic here though. Guys, his Alakazam is only at 1 HP, so I'll just knock it out with Earthquake. And all his other members don't appreciate getting poisoned. I really have to play it super well, guys. Win this. Like, if I still had my Scizor, it could have been an easy win. Now I have to kind of struggle. Yeah, I'll hit Tangrowth with the Toxic, which is great. And I'll just go into my Zapdos here. I want to keep my item on Hippowdon. Because Hippowdon needs to deal with T-Tar, Zam, Zapdos. Potentially against the Azumarill as well. Yeah, he knocks off, goes for a Rookie. Takes the Rookie Helmet damage. And honestly, I'm just gonna U-turn. I don't need to Roost here. Because if he stays in, he's gonna die to poison. He decides to bring in the T-Tar. And this is really great for me because I get the U-turn into my Heracross. And what I'm actually gonna do now is I'm just gonna click Facade, guys. Like, even if he stays in and I hit him with Facade, I will still do enough damage to the point in which my Porygon Carzy can knock it out later on. But he decides to switch, but after Rocks, I'm pretty sure Facade will knock it out, yeah. And he was also poisoned and the Sandstorm was up, so would have been an easy kill. Regardless of getting a high or low roll there. I can definitely see Alakazam coming in. I don't think Mamoswine comes in because that will just invite my Porygon too. T-Tar obviously not. A Azumarill with the Aqua Jet could be a possibility. But yeah, he goes Alakazam, which is the safest option. And I still want to keep this actually. Knowing that it's not Life Orbed. I can just go into Porygon 2 and take any attack. I also traced a Magic card, which means I don't take damage from the Sandstorm. And again, I'm just gonna recover here. Like, my Porygon 2, now that I look at it, guys, is actually really good now. Because he doesn't really have anything that beats it. Only thing that can potentially beat it is his Azumarill, I guess, or his Tyranitar if he hits a Toxic. He goes into Memo, gets up the Rocks. I poison the Memo, so Memo is also on a timer now. And I just recover here. Just to see what he does. He has Stealth Rocks, I don't think he has Knockoff. Perhaps I could have clicked Ice Beam as well. Would have been better, maybe. But he goes into his T-Tar. I'll just go hip out in here. He has leftovers, so he goes for taunt here. And I'm just gonna click Earthquake. I definitely see Zapdos coming in because he knows I can only use Earthquake, but I'm still gonna click it. Because maybe he thinks that I know that he goes into Zapdos and might go for a crazy play, so I'm just gonna Earthquake and we'll see. We'll see. His Zapdos cannot really do anything against me either. He actually goes for Toxic here, which means I get Earthquake damage off on his T-Tar. I do not knock him out, but I can just go for Earthquake again. And if he switches, he cannot come back in anymore because Stealth Rocks will kill him. He decides to go Zapdos now. I get my Hippowdon poisoned, maybe that was the goal. Because that was also his way of killing my Hippowdon, I guess. But yeah, now my taunt wears off and I can just click Toxic. If he doesn't Roost or Defog, he will have trouble switching in. Like if he Roosts here, he gets poisoned. If he Defogs, he gets poisoned as well and stays low. But he goes Alakazam now. And honestly, I'm gonna switch out here into my Porygon 2. As Porygon 2 is just gonna eat his attack up. I still have my Zapdos and Heracross as a second if he goes for a double. But he decides to go into his T-Tar, and like we said guys, his Tyranitar is gonna die to Stealth Rocks. But this does give him a free switch into something. Yeah, we know his Tyranitar has Toxic now. And Hippowdon is already poisoned, so it's a no-brainer for me if he goes... his Tyranitar just died. But he goes Azumarill now. And now is the time to go for a sec. He also takes Rocks damage. Because we know he's banded. So if he clicks... I sec Zapdos here, he guaranteed dies. But if he clicks Waterfall or Play Rough, that means my Porygon Z can come in and get a kill. If he goes for Aqua Jet for some strange reason, I can just go back into my Porygon 2. Let's see. He does go for Waterfall, which means he's locked into Waterfall, guys. He cannot click any other move. So he has to switch out or he has to let Azumarill die. But I get free damage off. I go for Tri-Attack. My Porygon Z basically at +2. And he's definitely gonna claim a kill. This is why getting rid of the T-Tar was really important. Now my Porygon Z is just gonna spam buttons. He decides to go into his Mamoswine. So Mamoswine will be gone. I guess that's a decent choice because it was poisoned and it was also gonna get walled by my Porygon 2. Let's see what he brings in now. He goes back into Azumarill, so Azumarill will be below 50%. Still, I don't want to tank an unnecessary Aqua Jet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sack my Heracross here. My Porygon is kind of winning for me anyway. And Heracross is gonna die to Aqua Jet anyway. If he doesn't click Aqua Jet, then I'll just bring in my Porygon Z again. Otherwise, I'll just bring in my Porygon 2 and actually spam Ice Beam. Guys, Aqua Jet will do nothing against my Porygon 2. Alakazam is at 1 HP and Zapdos will die after Stealth Rocks to my Ice Beam. I think just sacking my Heracross is completely fine there. I mean, yeah, it's definitely the best play for me, I guess. I'll just sack Heracross. He might actually live I have the Stealth Rocks. Yeah, he lived with 2 HP. But he goes for Aqua Jet, which means I just get to bring in my Porygon too. Actually, I want to play around here. I can click Ice Beam, but clicking Toxic here. Let's just style. I want to style. He does go Zapdos. And we poison him. But honestly, I should have just clicked Ice Beam. If I lose because of this, then I accept it. But now I'm going into Hippowdon. Summon the Sandstorm. He goes for Roost. We are both poisoned. I forgot about being poisoned. Yeah, I should have clicked Ice Beam. This is me getting too cocky, guys. I will just Earthquake. See what he clicks. We should still be fine. He goes for Heat Wave. Puts me pretty low. I have to say, I guess pretty low. Decently. I can just slack off here. As he goes for Heat Wave, he doesn't knock me out. We live with 4 HP. And I'll just slack off again. I guess clicking Earthquake there have guaranteed to kill as well. He takes Sandstorm, Poison. Okay, I'll just Earthquake. As he goes for Heat Wave, so we might actually both die on the next turn. Yeah, we will both die. I could have definitely played these mind games better. He kills my Hippowdon. Wouldn't have happened if I just clicked Ice Beam with Porygon too. Okay, I'll just go Porygon Z here. His Alakazam is Focus Sash. I don't think it has Focus Blast. Yeah, so I should live. I should live the Psychic. If we went for Azumarill, I would have lived Aqua Jet as well. Definitely Porygon Z was the play there. Should be living Psychic. Let's see, 69%. I easily live it. Knock out the Alakazam with T-Bolt, and he has to go into his Azumarill, and he has to click Aqua Jet, or he won't be able to knock out my Porygon Z. But him clicking Aqua Jet means he won't kill my Porygon 2. So this should be the game, guys. I shouldn't have let it come to this. That's just me being stupid, guys. Yeah, whenever I get a lead, sometimes I just roll around like this. But it's fine, it's fine. We were in a position to be able to do stuff like that. But we click Discharge here. Don't have to recover. Aqua Jet is not gonna do anything to my Porygon 2. And he will die to my Discharge. Let's see it, 18%. Does nothing. Discharge knocks him out. And that is basically the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, hit the like button, guys. And let's open the loot box.